Alright, so today we're taking a look at the big boss, and I've got to say, this figure really caught me off guard. From the presentation to the sculpt work, it's honestly hard to believe this isn't an officially licensed figure. For those of you who aren't familiar with this giant testicle,
Nemesis is a bioorganic weapon created by the Umbrella Corporation as part of the Nemesis T-type program, designed to be far more intelligent and relentless than standard tyrants. Deployed during the Raccoon City outbreak, his sole mission was to hunt down the remaining members of STARS, leading to his infamous pursuit of Jill Valentine. Unlike other monsters, Nemesis continues to mutate after taking damage, becoming increasingly dangerous over time, making him one of the most iconic threats in the Resident Evil franchise.
at least that's what ChatGPT told me.
He's also in Dead by Daylight.
Anyways, getting off topic, let's break it down, starting with the box. Right off the bat, the figure comes packed in an extra outer layer, showing off the company logo. It's very simple, very clean, nothing flashy, but it does what it's set out to do. The main box itself has this very pixelated look on the front, which I'm guessing is intentional, probably to reduce any copyright risk. You've got the title of the figure in the top right, company logo along the bottom, and it clearly states that this is a 1/12 scale release. The sides show a low-res image of what looks like Raccoon City. On the back there's safety info, and on the bottom there's a picture of the big boss himself, with the text, "Next one is coming soon." The box opens up like a hardcover book, and inside we get this anime-esque variant of Jill, who's the protagonist of Resident Evil 3. There's also more pixel art on either side of the interior, which adds a bit of extra personality to the overall aesthetic. As for the figure itself, it's packed in 2 layers of plastic, one to hold Nemesis securely and another layer for all his accessories. The lack of empty space really helps send the message, what you see is what you get. Big Boss comes packed with a decent range of accessories, including 8 interchangeable hands, 3 interchangeable heads, a rocket launcher with a detachable rocket, and 2 tentacles. Breaking the hands down a bit more, you get 2 near clenched fists, which can also hold accessories, 2 neutral or relaxed hands, 2 tongue whip style hands, and 2 trigger hands specifically for the rocket launcher. For the heads you've got a neutral teeth gritting face, a screaming head, and a masked head, which does limit movement slightly, but somehow still visually stunning. Now onto the figure itself, and honestly, this is where it really shines. The skirt is made of a soft plastic, which is a big help with articulation. The level of sculpted detail is crazy. There's so much texture here. It genuinely looks like Nemesis stepped straight out of the game. The layered clothing, exposed skin, and uneven surface detailing really sell that stitched together mutated look. Nemesis measures around 8.5 inches tall, which would make any other collector think,
Why is he 1/12 scale?
and to summarize, man's just
Big.
This guy was made to tower over your collection. The proportions are solid, especially the feet. They're big enough that he doesn't feel top heavy or unstable. The hands are also made from a softer plastic, which makes swapping them out a lot easier and reduces the risk of snapping anything. One thing I really appreciate is that the tube running across the body isn't glued into the sculpt. It's held in place very securely, but still allows a bit of flexibility, which is always a win. If I had to nitpick, the only real downside for me is that the hands have a slightly cheap or greasy feel to them. It's not a deal breaker, but it's noticeable compared to the rest of the figure's quality. Articulation is solid across the board. The head sits on a standard ball peg, giving a 360 rotation on the x-axis, roughly 45 degrees looking up and down, and around 30 degrees of side-to-side movement. The shoulders get just shy of 90 degrees, and there's a bicep swivel, which makes posing the arms much easier. You've got double jointed elbows, offering a great range of movement. The wrists rotate, and you can get some pivot as well. The torso can rotate fully, though the ab crunch is fairly minimal. Legs can move forward and backward about 90 degrees. Here he is doing the splits. He also has double jointed knees, allowing for a full boot to buttock position. The boots are on ball pegs, giving a good amount of ankle pivot and full rotation, which really helps lock in dynamic poses. Here's Nemesis next to a few other figures for scale. We have the GM Toys Hunk, NECA Michael Myers, and Figma Trapper. As you can see, he towers nicely without feeling out of place in a 1/12 scale display. Now, let's talk price. At around £110, this is definitely on the steeper side. That said, for what you're getting, I genuinely think it's worth it, especially if you're a die-hard Resident Evil fan, or even a Dead by Daylight. The overall aesthetic, sculpt work and presence of this figure are phenomenal. If Nemesis is a character you care about, I'd strongly recommend picking this up while you still can.